Hello and welcome to Points and Parries, a HEMA podcast. I am your host, Wook Liu. My co host is Marshall Strong, and today we are interviewing Paul Groover. Enjoy the show.
Hey, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to
Of
see
course. So I wanted to do this show because you are throwing a tournament in a couple of weeks here coming up. So I'd like to get your thoughts on, your hopes and dreams for your tournament, and then we'll do an interview afterwards to get your thoughts and get the full picture of what it is like to run one. So
Is that tournament in a few weeks? I'm sorry, I'm terrified. Is that a few weeks from now?
yes,
It's a month out. Just about
Okay, a month. You scared me. I was like,
that's
yeah, because I'm
it's
in
in
this
4
thing,
weeks.
and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
All
no,
right,
you still have some time to train. Don't worry.
and send you a. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about more, but and send you my like walkout music, which I've spent the last like 6 months deliberating or something.
Oh, yeah, you can elaborate that on.
Hard choice. Walkout music is
Yeah.
it takes some deep thought. But yeah, no. So I usually we go to this tournament, King's Cup, which is a great tournament. Everyone should go, but it's not happening this year. So there's a big void in the schedule, and
Yeah.
if you go a couple months without doing HEMA, you just get sad, bad. So felt compelled to throw some kind of event. Initially,
Mhm.
have some hitters fight literally in the field, and then some of my club mates were like, "Well, you need to do better." So it just kind of happened. I didn't really. I'm not an organized person. I'm not a person that plans things in general.
Mhm.
So but it just kind of took off, and thankfully Keith is, Keith Cotter Riley runs the Atlanta gym, so he's willing to loan his space out, so I don't, take a financial bath from this.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's a great gym too. That's like a really good spot for a tournament. Actually, if people haven't visited, it's a really cool gym. I think it'd be worth going to the tournament just to. Did I lost my power in here? Hold on.
Oh,
No, it's all right. Hold on. Sorry for ruining your podcast.
that's fine.
Paul.
While you're figuring that
I'm
out,
running a space heater. Let me go and flip the breaker, and I'll be right back.
I'm gonna keep interviewing you, Paul. Paul, tell us a little bit about your origin story. How'd you get started in HEMA?
I went down a YouTube rabbit hole one day.
Sorry.
Used to play a lot of contact sports, and don't really do that anymore. When you get out of like college and kind of look for something to stay fit, make friends, and I think at heart I knew I was just a nerd, and there were a bunch of things I didn't really do. So I started watching YouTube, and I saw bow hurt initially. That looked like a good way to get a concussion, and eventually found Atlanta Historical Fencing Academy online. Went in there one day and got hooked pretty much immediately. And now I do HEMA as much as I possibly.
Excellent. That's pretty close to me. Mine is my brother held up his phone and he was like, "Check this shit out," and it was like two, HEMA black long sorters going at it.
Yeah.
And like immediately I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life. I'm all in."
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
Oh, just me?
How'd you get into it?
Similar. I was at a well, here the dorky story here. So before HEMA, I used to play at this LARP back in college, and I always wanted like HEMA. Like there was no reenactment, but I wanted to do something swords armor. And we went to like a convention. They were promoting it, and it was the one of the anime ones in Atlanta. I don't know anything about anime, so I was looking for like panels or something to go to, and there was like Night Fight or something like that, and it was Keith and Brian Johnson from Scala St. George were running like a dual demo thing on HEMA. It was your average like taco pinata, like you can grab the swords without your fingers falling off, and this is HEMA workshops, but kind of the same thing you just said. Like I was like, I'm doing this Monday, and like Marcus and Mackenzie were there, and they did a little like kind of showy sparring thing, and of course made it look gorgeous. And so I'm just like, yeah, I can look like that. I can do this thing, and of course didn't realize how hard that is, but I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, there's something about HEMA. It looks cool, And you were talking about how you did other combat sports. HEMA itself is a relatively, quote unquote, safe combat sport because as long as you're in proper gear, you're
Yeah, you're in
relatively
riot gear. Yeah.
pretty safe underneath there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling people tonight at that beginner workshop, like the first time they like we was like, hey, everybody be safe. The first time they come to a bind and that metal hits, I'm just like, hey, like at this point, like if you don't like how that sound is, like if that doesn't, just like get back in your car because you're not gonna like it here. Because I feel like that's usually that first like cross, people kind of know that this is something they want to do.
Mm. Mm. Paul, for your tournament, what's the size that you're going for, and what kind of weapons you're going to be?
All right. So space limiting, we're capping the longsword tournament at 35, which might actually be a little ambitious. In terms of the planning of the time, it's kind of guesswork. And then there's a sword and buckler tournament because that's my favorite. I love sword and buckler, and it's not at all that many tournaments anymore. So we're capping that one at 20 because that's as many people as I could get to sign up. Yeah. Or actually, no, scratch that. 25. I think we're at 23 right now. We got a couple spots left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you last looked at the list, how far are people coming in for?
We've Daniel Alt is coming from the hills of Appalachia. Let's see.
Sure.
Got, you guys are coming from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
City guys. Can I still say Mike Roth is coming from Kansas City?
Sure.
If I say,
Yeah, I mean, either way, deep Florida.
Yeah, he's even farther south than I am.
all right, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so he's like maybe 8 or 9 hours from what is it? Is in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. San
Yeah.
Mateo. So that's pretty much the extent. But I mean, I just made that trip to Florida. That's like an 8-hour drive. So I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you guys signing up for that. I know that it's not
course.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not a super easy drive. But I think you guys have the record right now. Yep.
Yeah. It's a whole day. It's a whole 1-day tournament.
Yeah, one day, gonna start at like 9 in the morning, fight, take a break, fight some more. We'll try and do the semifinals and the finals. I have something a little bit different planned. We're gonna try and start that right around 5, and I think we can get everyone out by 7. Plenty of time to go to one of the 5 breweries in walking distance. And
Sure. Cool.
Okay.
Mhm.
Marshall, you got something?
Well, I mean, the first thing that came to mind is sword and buckler, which is my favorite spectator sport. I don't do it. I realized really early in HEMA that my hands couldn't do different things, so I'm a fan. Sword and buckler tournaments so typically go one of two ways. Either it's a hateful rugby match or it's extremely technical, and both are wonderful to watch from my perspective. They're both really exciting, but what direction are you guys going with it? Is it going to be like sort of like a Surfo, like like Rotellas and like longer swords and very like technical, or is it going to be kind of more of that I don't know, clash and fight sword and buckler match?
I tried to kind of draw a line somewhere in the middle. At like
Sure.
the limit is 36 inches. Turbo, I think, lets you go up.
I'm kind of like losing you here. Is that my computer or is that?
No, I think Paul was just dropping out. Could you repeat the last few sentences you said?
Oh, sorry about that. So I'm capping the length at like 36. I'm trying to find somewhere in the middle. At Surfo, I love Surfo. I think it's the
Mhm.
best.
Yeah, it's my favorite tournament. Yeah, sure.
If some of the rapier guys, you kind of go in and you're like, this is gonna be a long shot for me to pull an upset. I'm not gonna aim anything. But 36, I thought you can get some arming swords, you can get some sabers, you can get some messers. I really just kind of want some variety.
Sure.
Hmm. What's the are people allowed to bring in their long rapiers for this?
We said 36 inches.
Yeah, 36 inches is the blade length. So I think it gives you enough. Like if you like we got a guy in our club. He loves fighting sword and buckler with a messer. I think he'll have a shot there. But you'll see plenty of side swords and guys doing like German rapier kind of thing. I think so. I don't know.
I think ultimately the sword and buckler guys, like you said, there's not as much of it as there. There was sort of like a heyday for a few years, but I think they'll probably just appreciate that they're sword and buckler, regardless of the quirks of the rule. It's usually longsworders get like really bitchy about some minor quirk in the rules that they don't like and complain. Sword and buckler guys will just be happy to be doing it.
Yeah, I like to do it, but we yeah.
Dang, I think we're losing you again. I don't know if it's a connection thing or the microphone, but yeah, you're dropping out on us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, no, but we're gonna put it on HEMA ratings, which is a new experience. I haven't tried to do that. And I don't know. There's a lot of first timers at this tournament, so I have a hunch there's going to be some boxing matches. Hopefully some technical skill, but I truly have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm just happy to host it.
Okay. Elaborate on the rules and your scoring system there.
Yeah. So the rules, I just kind of made them up as I went along. It's nothing too revolutionary. It's 2 points deep target, 1 point shallow. Doubles are subtractive, and I really just wanted to make it so that you could judge it fairly easily. I like tiered scoring, like 3 points for like a high value. I like judging it. Sometimes is iffy because like shoulder, sometimes it's going high, sometimes it's going low. And one of the things that drives me nuts about some HEMA tournaments is there's always technical issues. It seems like there's always a significant delay for something. So I'm doing it all just on paper, round robin.
Sure.
I'll count it. I'm going to make the bracket just as I go. Just because I know I'm not smarter than other people that are running this tournament, and if they're having technical difficulties, I'm liable to just meltdown and it not work. So
yeah, some of these tournaments almost need like a full IT team or something. It seems like. Yeah, I agree. That's, it's nice if you can. I mean, there was something to be said about like the older HEMA tournaments that just had like a thing on the table they'd flip over for the score and you could always see it. But I mean, yeah, kudos to people when they pull off the electronic stuff. But I don't blame you.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Just flip score. Gonna have my table guy circle the winner, bring me the list of winners, and then I'm just gonna put everybody into another pool. And it may not be mathematically perfect, like in terms of the seeding, it may not be great. But gonna give it my best shot, and I'm gonna try and get everybody plenty of fights. Gonna make sure everybody gets at least 8 fights in pools, and then there's gonna be a bracket, just because brackets are fun, and I like to do them and make them, and I want everybody to have that kind of do or die.
What's your philosophy for your brackets?
My philosophy for my brackets?
Yeah. Some people do double elimination brackets. Some people have tiered brackets.
Nobody does double elimination. They should, but nobody does. I agree.
Single elimination, you make my brain hurt too much. All right. No, I just there will be buys. Whoever, depending on how many people actually show up, when and you're in. And so when we get to the semifinals, though, we're going to stop, take a break, because for the semifinals for both events at the end, I'm trying to do something kind of special. I want to present it a little bit differently, which I don't know. I'm thinking it'll be fun. Like in between fights, we're going to try and like have some games, some awards, and I just kind of want each fight to kind of have its moment in the sun, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
In between the fights, and then kind of introduce each fighter, let them pick a song that they walk out to, give them a moment to have a little personality. In like after the fight, maybe have a quick brief little interview with one of them, and then I have some cool stuff that I've procured that I want to give away to people. So
I dig that.
Well,
That
that'll be
sounds really
fun because
fun.
that gym, it's like it's a nice big HEMA gym, but it's probably one of the bigger indoor spots in America. But it's still not like going to a convention center or like like it's not as big as a basketball gym. So I think I can almost picture like a bunch of people standing around watching the fight. So I think that'll probably lend itself to that pageantry. So I think that's a pretty cool idea actually.
that's the hope. Got some good buddies. They have their amalgam sword company YouTube. Ben Akrig, Billy Matt, and they have a lot of really awesome production skills, and they've set up some pretty cool lighting in there. So we're gonna
Oh, cool.
leverage some of their skills to kind of just make it just look a little cooler. I don't know what we're doing video wise yet. I'm hoping that we can get some really good, like really high level video of everyone that participates. I don't have that skill, so I'm trying to line that up. So it'll happen, but that's a hope. And then there'll be some food and drink so people can just kind of enjoy the fights and hang out after for a little while.
Oh wow. That was going to be my next question, was if you had video lined up for that, because it sounds like you're making a pretty WrestleMania-esque event there.
So it's pending. I don't want to blow it up so much. There's not going to be like a bunch of strobe effects, and it's not. I'm not gonna,
Fireworks? I mean, are we laser show or come on?
don't know.
Have I already paid for this thing? No, go ahead.
No, I'm hesitant because I don't want to hype it up so much and then not deliver. I just I think it'll be neat.
I don't think you should stress about that though, man. Like it's so. First off, thank you for running a tournament. And anybody who's like a jerk to people running a tournament needs to check themselves in HEMA because I don't know if you're in this for a while and you see something like you said like King's Cup, or I think of like Long Point's always one that hurts to me, and those are big ones, but we're always like a fewer tournaments every year, or losing a few in a year is makes a big difference. So it's great when people step up and run one. So don't let anybody bitch at you, and it's totally good to hype it up. I think it's cool that you're experimenting with a fanfare.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at my HEMA schedule for the year, I'm trying to get at least one event per month, and then it'll be like gaps of months where the only tournaments are way out in the west coast.
Yeah.
So it's good that there's more East Coast people starting up more tournaments so we can fill these out.
That's the hope. And I know, like, when we talk about people griping at tournaments, like, obviously don't do that. But it's having gone to some tournaments at a pretty, significant distance. I also really want to respect the time and the commitment it takes to go and travel. Like, I mean, you have kids, right? And it's an endeavor to get down there, to take the weekend, to haul your ass and all your gear up there and pay the money and compete, So my goal is like the money we're charging people to participate. It's all going back in some way, some form or fashion, either paying staff or going to prizes or something. But I'm not going to take any profit from this particular tournament because it to be like, just want it to be something that I do for the sport. Are you guys losing me, or are we losing Marshall?
We're good. I'm good. I think Marshall froze. It's fine. He'll figure out his way back.
Oh God, I lost my.
That's all right. So you mentioned Keith earlier. Is Keith a good mentor for this? I would assume.
All right. I'm gonna be honest with you here, okay? Keith is the single best mentor that can exist in HEMA, in my opinion. I appreciate that man so much. Like, God, the amount of work he puts into that space and the time he puts into the sport has enriched my life so greatly. Look, without HEMA and without like what Keith puts into HEMA, I'd be so sad. Look, I would be so sad all the time. Yeah, man, he's a great mentor. He lets us use his space. He
Mm-hmm.
puts his time and his energy. He's a really good teacher. He's a good competitor. He's competing in Helsinki coming up.
Oh, wow.
I like to think we're inspiring him to kind of get back into it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he sees how hungry like the club as a whole is getting, and I think I like to take credit for that. I will take credit for that. In fact,
Well, I don't know if I said this to you last weekend, but whatever methodology that Keith has come up with, it's really fucking working. He is like raising a new generation of hemo practitioners to like really go out there and show that whatever his method is, it's working. Oh,
Yeah.
did I lose you, Paul?
oh no, my low power mode just kicked on. It's on the phone.
Mm.
Yeah, thanks, man. And we could, there's a lot of new faces in the gym. It's interesting. We'll go in there and be like, oh, I don't know anybody here, or there's just a lot of new names, new faces, and some of them look pretty good. So nice to see that. You too, though. Hey, to see you guys. We just got back from Steel Jam. Me and the boys were all still riding an emotional high from that. That was a lot of fun. That was a really impressive showing. 500 plus fights. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That Steel Jam was the brainchild from Crossroads. The idea was that, people from various Florida clubs were going to work together to throw, a semi-quarterly event for everybody in the area so we can get more people together to fight. Me personally, I just want Floridians to show up at other outside tournaments and like really, kind of prove that the stuff we're doing here is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, man. I was talking to folks. That was a homegrown tournament. There was a
Yeah.
lot of Floridians there,
Mm-hmm.
quite a lot of skill, and it's a nice community. It just is. And I know
Yeah.
a lot of folks on our Discord are talking about when the next one was just today because we were
Yeah.
sharing pictures and they were all getting super jealous, having FOMO. So
I mean, I find that to be true for just like HEMA people in general, right? It's a small community, so the asshats tend to get pushed out pretty quickly, or at least they get ostracized, if not pushed out.
yeah, thankfully not too many ads. I hadn't encountered too many, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, the FOMO is real.
Mm-hmm.
You see stuff and you're just like, oh man, I got to go to more tournaments. I got to get in this tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I generally don't care about HEMA ratings, but I care about getting really good, for like my own personal journey.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, Paul's running over there. He's got that tournament there. I need to go over there because he's really good. And if I fight him, I'm going to get good too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I inspire that.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had that longsword match last weekend, and you whooped my butt.
I remember the fight differently. It was a good fight.
It was close.
Yeah,
I
it was-
almost won, but you won, so you whooped my butt.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Marshall, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And the technical difficulties, guys. Sometimes I'm in the podcast, sometimes I'm not.
Good. That's good. Do you care about HEMA ratings?
I mean, nobody says yes.
It's okay to say yes.
Guys, I care a lot about it.
So when HEMA ratings came out, I sent Keith a message. I'm like, these idiots are going to destroy HEMA. Like, this is so stupid. Like, everybody's only going to care about this. And to some degree, that's been true, but it hasn't destroyed HEMA, and I think it probably has been a good thing. But I think everybody knows that there's, like, a star next to that. It's like, you should care, but not too much, because you're not a badass sword fighter just because you have a high HEMA ratings. You're just good at competitions, which is, so take it for what it's worth. That's all. But I don't know. I like to have a higher one than a lower one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would care more about it as soon as you could place bets and win actual money. That would be great.
When that happens, I'm going to start like throwing matches for money. Like, so I'm
Right.
somewhere in there, yeah. Because I think I could sell off some HEMA ratings to like somebody up and coming. I could boost them, right?
I mean, that's what HEMA needs really for the next level. We need a good gambling scandal.
Corruption.
Yeah. No. for real though, I want actual major fucking Red Bull sponsors, Monster sponsors, Nike, get them in here. Put put the logo on my back. I don't care about being a shill. Like more money into the sport just raises everything up in general, in my opinion.
It does seem like it's growing a lot. It
Oh yeah,
seems
my God, yeah.
seems
Yeah,
like we might
I
kind
don't,
in the early 3 days.
I don't know what happened like post COVID or whatever. Even like I don't know, it was picking up before that, but it's like all the competitions disappeared, and then afterwards, I don't know. It really seems like exciting stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I spent too much time on YouTube, and I started gaining weight, and then I found HEMA on YouTube.
Oh, sir, are you a pure like post COVID Hema baby? Or are you like
Here, post-COVID.
right on,
Listen,
dude? No, I love you guys. Yeah, like that's awesome.
I saw Shadiversary, guys.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If not for Shad, I wouldn't have found HEMA.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
mean, yeah, that's. I mean, there's. That's like another side of it or whatever. I mean, there's a ton of. I mean, I don't. He's not the example, but there's a lot of people doing like good stuff on like YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hema's exciting right now. I don't really tolerate a whole lot of pessimism around it because I just see good stuff going on.
Yeah.
People are getting better faster. Like that's kind of crazy that you're like post COVID, because it used to take people like I don't know like 5-6 years to be doing pretty well, and people are like in a few years getting like really good at longsword now, and that's super fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the new students that come in, we can get their skill level up like really quickly. You know what I mean?
We
I
just
think
spent so much time doing dumb stuff. Like I don't want to say like nobody knew, but like in the old days, like and I'm not even like super old in HEMA. Like I mean, they're like I'm not like modified Chennai era or anything like that. I'm sort of like that like Long Point New York Times era. But like we just wasted so much time doing drills that didn't really work just for the sake of like feeling like we were doing drills and stuff, and it was like
mm-hmm.
so much time wasted, and I feel like people have really pared that down and figured out how to train this, and yeah,
Right.
the next 10 years are going to be super exciting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if it's wasted time. It's you're pioneers, man.
Well, and 10 years from now, like people will be saying the same thing about what's going on now. They'll be like, I mean, but anyway, it's cool. People are getting good fast.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, we are hitting the 30-minute mark here. Before I let you go, I wanna get your thoughts on what you want people to get the most out of your tournament here.
I want everybody, I guess, to have a good time. I want everybody
Excellent.
to feel like they got plenty of fights. I want them to feel like it was reasonably fair. We got pretty good judges. No promises, but they're going to do our best. We'll do our best.
Mm.
I just want everybody to feel fulfilled. When you go to a good HEMA tournament, especially if you travel, you go up there with your crew. You see people you hadn't seen in a while, maybe since another tournament. You fight, get some good fights, and you learn something. Maybe you win something. You watch other fights and you hang out with your people afterwards, and at the end, your heart just feels really full,
Mm.
filled, and
Yeah.
that's what I hope. I just want everybody to walk away with a full heart and having done some good HEMA and
Like,
some
don't
bruising.
you
Absolutely.
train like a lot harder after you have one of those good tournaments? Like you come back and you're like, you feel like you're like back in tune, like all your practice works better after a good tournament.
But there's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like after you kind of get over the initial high, a couple days later, you've got like a solid week where the tournament's fresh and your mind is right,
Mhm.
and you're not as sore as you were after. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is a
Mm.
sweet spot
Thank you
after
very
the
much for giving us that. Like I said, people, there needs to be more tournaments, so it's always cool when people step up and run these. It's scary because you're worried about pissing people off. It's like, which is like, it sucks that there's that fear, but well, I mean, like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
nobody wants, like you said, to have people drive up and then you feel like they had a bad time or something, which I think is especially with I think you're doing a cool, like having a roughly 30-man tournament. There's like a sweet spot in there where that's enough people to have a good tournament. But generally, those size tournaments, like people aren't like scowling at each other across the room and being like, those tournaments can be kind of fun too when you have like these
Yeah.
giant ones where like it's really like intense competitive, but
Yeah.
like a small
All the clubs are there.
competitive tournament is like, yeah, it's always a good vibe. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Glad you guys are coming. I hope it lives up to expectations, and I appreciate you guys talking to me about it and
Of course.
light on it.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, man. Hope it goes wonderful.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna fight. I don't know whatever happens. We're gonna fight. So it'll be cool. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Paul. I'll catch you on the other side of the interview.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thanks.
You too. Thank you.